The tiny island named Little St. James is now infamous for unimaginable levels of depravity. But what if I told you that this is just the tip of the iceberg? What if I told you that Jeffrey Epstein had another property, shrouded in even more mystery? A mansion in the middle of the desert, where he was above the law. But before we get into that, it's important to get a sense of the amount of wealth and assets that this man had. People mostly only know Epstein for his 2 properties on his private island. But he also had a mansion in Palm Beach, Florida, a Colorado ski chalet, an apartment in Paris, and a Manhattan mansion.
How many houses do you have? I don't know. You don't know how many houses you have.
Epstein allegedly bought his New York mansion from his friend and CEO of Victoria's Secret, Leslie Wexner, for, get this, $1. However, no transaction was ever recorded. After Epstein was finally arrested in 2019, his $77 million mansion was raided by the FBI. And after sawing open his safe, they found $70,000 in cash, 48 loose diamonds, a fake Saudi Arabian passport, and a bunch of CDs with writing on them. They also found boxes of hard drives covered in evidence tape. To be clear, before the feds busted in, Epstein's stuff was already covered in evidence tape. Weird. I know. Epstein's island and Florida mansion were also raided. In his Florida pad, they found a fully equipped dentist chair and other odd items like torpedo sex toys. However, most of the assets on the island were seized by the feds and never disclosed to the public. But Epstein had another property, one that has gone largely unnoticed. It sits undisturbed, underreported, and largely unheard of by the public. Why was Epstein's island, Florida mansion, and New York mansion all raided by the FBI quickly after his arrest, but his 33,000 square foot property in New Mexico remains untouched? This is Jeffrey Epstein's Zorro Ranch.
On my own island, or on my own ranch, I can think the thoughts I want to think. I can do the work I want to do, and I'm free to explore as I see fit.
Albuquerque FBI.
My name's Carter. I'm with Revelo Project. We just had some questions about a high-profile case or investigation that went on in New Mexico.
Okay. You said your name was Carter. What type of case are you trying to get info on? Just so I kind of have an idea of maybe where I can route your info or your call.
Yeah, it's Jeffrey Epstein's Zorro Ranch.
To this day, it has yet to be reported that any law enforcement has entered the property or seized any assets. And we wanted to know why.
You said it was Jeffrey Epstein, correct?
Yes, sir.
It soon became clear that the FBI was not interested in providing us any answers.
Okay, well, I'll have your info here, so I'll forward it along, okay?
All right, appreciate you.
Oh, I have no idea.
You would have to call Edgewood Police Department.
You would need to contact Torrance County Sheriff's Office.
Evidence room is not available to take your call.
No, we're not Stanley. Stanley is part of Santa Fe County. This is Torrance County.
This is crazy. No wonder no one caught him. No one's got jurisdiction over that place.
Okay, is there a name associated with that case?
Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay.
Another dead end.
Which was frustrating to say the least. A sentiment we had in common with one of our anonymous contacts.
The FBI didn't even raid Zorro. I mean, they didn't even go there, and they had time to clean it up.
So, of course, we tried to force their hand by filing Freedom of Information Act requests. We haven't heard back yet. Follow us to stay updated. The word Zorro is Spanish for fox, a cunning, sly creature who walks the lines between structures of civilized society and the barbaric rules of the wild. An apt description of Epstein. The ranch was his corner of the wilderness, a place where he was the predator and everyone else was the prey. But to Epstein, the ranch was named after the masked vigilante Zorro, whom he apparently had a sexual fetish for, according to one of his former employees. An unsurprising find considering the disturbing emails released in February of 2023. The emails were between Epstein and Jess Staley, a JP Morgan Chase executive, in which they made suggestive references to Disney princesses. This 7,600 acres of land was merely a cattle ranch before Epstein bought it. And when he built a castle-sized mansion on top of it, people started asking questions.
No one really knew what was going on. It was secretive, so everyone I spoke with in that vicinity, I got to know a number of ranch families in that area, and the rumors were that it was a cult, some kind of a cult, because they had seen nothing like this. A lot of local folks I spoke with told me that they assumed that Epstein was like the owner of Victoria's Secret. They'd see the women, they would see the models. That was the whole vibe.
The ranchers around him thought that a cult had moved in due to the amount of bright lights, massive parties, and the large number of young girls that they would see come and go. The colossal estate, found 35 miles from Santa Fe, went on the market in July this year and piqued our interest. In an effort to gather information on the ranch, with the ultimate goal of touring and filming the property, we contacted the real estate agent.
Hi, Daniel.
Hey, I'm actually with my business partner here, and we are looking to just get your ear on a couple questions. Is that okay?
Sure.
On the land lies a 30,000 square foot house, a 4,400 foot long private grass airstrip, a hangar, and a helipad. Easy access for the rich and powerful. The ranch consists of a mix of privately owned and federally leased land. Over 7,500 acres belong to Epstein, and 423 belong to New Mexico's Bureau of Land Management. There is also a small village within the ranch called Ranch Central, as well as other amenities including a greenhouse, a firehouse, a barn, a 7-bay heated garage, a lodge, a yurt, and an additional guest house.
And the house itself is up on a mesa, but very private. From where you enter, there's almost like a little village. There's a bunch of little houses that are used for staff and stuff as you enter. And then you go up a hill on the mesa to the house. It's extremely impressive. He didn't spare a dime. I mean, he really had great taste.
There are also equestrian facilities, which include an 8-stall barn with a tack room, an arena for equestrian activities, and an exterior gated horse run.
When we did the inspection of the property, we were able to get a pretty good layout. You know, it was very grand and very Spanish style. So it has like the courtyard in the middle and then all the rooms with portals that come out, so that you can look into the middle courtroom. It had a very large industrial kitchen, so you knew that he probably entertained. At the time, I was told that a doctor lived at the village on an everyday basis. And then I think he had a cook. He had his airstrip. He had his own pilot. He had a home for his pilot. He had his main residence. Then he had a couple other residents that were on the back side that you don't see from the highway. He also had a mobile home back there and a small cabin. He did create a self-contained community, is what I would call it.
The ranch is self-sustaining, a whole mini society, a world out west, where the laws of the nation are left behind. And if Little St. James resembled that of Pinocchio's Pleasure Island,
I'm collecting stupid little boys,
then his ranch was akin to that of the show Westworld.